Caliroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Back in the basement, back to normal episodes, no more pre-tapes. Let's catch up. Stephen Colbert, the night after his show ended, he returned to television. Did you see this? He showed up on public access television. He hosted Only in Monroe, a community access program in Monroe, Michigan. Here's Stephen Colbert.
Hello. Also welcome. It's time for another edition of Only in Monroe. I'm your guest, host, Stephen Colbert. Longtime viewers of Only in Monroe may remember that back in July of 2015, I filled in for the usual hosts, Michelle Bauman and Kaylani Ray Rafko Wilson. Still not sure how many people that is. Since I was last here in Monroe, Michigan, I spent 11 years as the primary host of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on CBS, which came to an end last night. It's been an excruciating 23 hours without being on TV, so I am grateful to be able to be here on Monroe Community Media before they also get acquired by Paramount. It's truly a joy to be back in Monroe, Michigan. I had such a great experience the last time I was here to take a Michigander that I just had to come back Michigan. Plus, legally speaking, Monroe is the only place in the world where you can make the show Only in Monroe. It's just like how champagne must be made in France's Champagne region, or Milwaukee's best must be made in Milwaukee by drinking an actual beer and then peeing it into a can. Are they sponsors?
Only in Monroe covers the happenings of Monroe, a town of about 20,000 people, roughly 40 miles southwest of Detroit. The show's regular hosts, Michelle and Kai, were his first guests. Jack White, who grew up in Detroit, served as the musical director, playing songs on a boombox. Stephen called Byron Allen and got him on the phone. He made an appearance, and so did Eminem. Eminem, also from Michigan. Steve Buscemi made a cameo in what he called a public service announcement for a local restaurant, Buscemi's Pizza and Subs, no relation. Colbert taste-tested Monroe-style chili dogs and made peanut butter, potato chip, and barbecue sauce sandwiches with the actor Jeff Daniels, who lives in Michigan. This is pretty elaborate to have happen the night after The Late Show wrapped up. Now, interestingly, Colbert has hosted Only in Monroe before. He hosted it in 2015, a few months before taking The Late Show over from David Letterman. That time, he also interviewed the host of Only in Monroe and had Eminem on the show, who he called a local Michigander who was making a name for himself in the competitive world of music. So how did CBS react? They put up takedown notices, and boy, they just looked so petty and lame, and people made fun of them on the internet. I don't think anybody at CBS cares about anything. It was also last week the last broadcast of CBS News Radio. Oh boy, CBS, what have you done to your brand? So as soon as Only on Monroe showed up on YouTube, social media onlookers noticed that Paramount Skydance, the parent company of CBS, and I will point out, Star Trek ruiners, had issued takedown claims citing breach of copyright. CBS had to react to this. A spokesperson told Variety, Stephen Colbert's return to Monroe in the Only in Monroe episode was financed and produced by CBS Studios and was posted on Stephen Colbert's YouTube channel in collaboration with Monroe Comedian Media and The Late Show's YouTube channels. As is our regular practice, we send copyright notices to unauthorized websites that post copyrighted content from CBS and our network/studio talent, such as Stephen Colbert. The network said it had decided to waive further enforcement of what it called a standard industry practice. The series finale of The Late Show drew 6.74 million viewers on Thursday night. That is up from the Q1 average of 2.69 million viewers. When Colbert premiered in 2015, he had 6.55 million viewers that night. Times have changed, but as a comparison, the final episode of Late Show with David Letterman drew 13.76 million viewers. In the Facebook group, regular contributor Dillon asked, he was curious what I thought of the finale, and I don't think anything of it. It just had no impact on me. It's clearly a big thing, but like Colbert's entire tenure on The Late Show, I didn't watch it, didn't hate it, wasn't interested in it. And again, you hear me host the show every day. I clearly like the idea of late night. I'd probably seen Fallon, I don't know, twice. Kimmel, I don't think I've ever watched an episode of Kimmel. Maybe I've clearly seen clips and excerpts, but I don't think I've actually ever put Kimmel on. So Colbert, I watched the clips while I was in London. I had taped the whole thing on the DVR, and I don't even feel motivated to watch the whole thing. Sorry, everybody. So yeah, and from what I'm seeing online, people were just kind of like, yeah, it was okay. Speaking of London, the Times of London put out this headline: Why Maverick comedian Tim Dillon is the new Stephen Colbert. I want to say tap the brakes, but they may have a point. Their subheader: As the Late Show host makes his exit, a new crop of comics is poised to replace him with a modern brand of humor fit for the internet age. They recapped a recent Dillon episode. I listened to a few episodes of Tim on the plane. I think the show's not quite as good as it was 2 years ago, but it's still, when Tim's on, he's on. I just find that he's on less often. The Times writes for this episode: It was not a late-night talk show monologue. It went on for an hour, seemed to come straight off the top of his head, and was posted on social media rather than broadcast on TV. Donnie Zoldan. I know Donnie. I know him personally. He owns Stand Up New York. He's quoted in this thing. He said, The Daily Show, they do their take. Bill Maher does his thing every week. John Oliver does his thing. Tim Dillon does it his own way. It's quite different from anyone else. Jeffrey Cole has an upcoming book called Disruptors at the Gate. Cole told The Times, Younger people aren't watching late-night TV. They may see clips on YouTube. Cole said, We know the traditional format hasn't worked on streaming yet. Chelsea Handler did a show similar to her talk show. It didn't work. The article also name-checks the Apple TV version of the Jon Stewart Show. Cole said, We're going to see innovation, but it's going to have to be something different than just the band and the Johnny Carson studio. Just having a band is probably $3 million a year. The article also quotes Jimmy Kimmel from last year's Bloomberg Screen Time conference, where Kimmel talked about YouTube and said, YouTube pays nothing. YouTube gets to sell it and keeps half the money. It's quite a deal for them. It really is. Coming up later this week is Good Night with Ben Glebe on YouTube. Bill Carter said of Glebe's show, It will have a band, it will have guests, it'll be on YouTube. They're saying we think there's life in the genre. They have an audience that's growing enormously. I think it's an indication of the viability of doing a show that is topical. Chelsea Handler, not the most popular person these days. The headline, Chelsea Handler faces backlash after criticizing racist jokes at Kevin Hart roast. Mentioned this the other day while standing on a street corner in Scotland. By the way, shout out to Ryan. Ryan lives in Edinburgh and is a listener. And when he heard me on a street corner, he reached out to me, invited me out for a drink. And I wish the show was live because I was already back in London by the time I got the email. But Ryan, thank you. It was great connecting with you on the side. And if I make it up that way again next year, I will definitely reach out to you. I was in London for a podcast conference last week, and I shot up to Scotland for the day on Friday. Most people are like, are you insane? And I've been to Australia and I've been to Antarctica. A 4-hour train ride with Wi-Fi does not scare me. Chelsea Handler had called out Shane Gillis and some others for their jokes at the Kevin Hart roast. Chelsea apparently completely unfamiliar with what a roast is. She was on Dion Cole's podcast with the just terrible hacky name, Funny Knowing You. Get it? Get it? See, it's Funny Knowing You and it's comedy and it's Dion. Dude, that is a terrible name. Let me read this sentence verbatim. Quote, Handler called Gillis's lynching joke, Kevin is so short you'd have to lynch him from a bonsai tree, worse than rape. That's right. That joke is worse than rape, according to Chelsea Handler. Chelsea Handler told Dion Cole she had received messages on social media about Shane Gillis and Tony Hinchcliffe from their alleged former partners. That's interesting. Handler was asked what these alleged former partners said. Handler said, just everything we know, that they're racist, that they're bigots, they're sexist. Gillis had told The Hollywood Reporter, this is a big moment for Chelsea. I'm glad she's capitalizing. Good for her. We're all rooting for her. Anyway, come see me July 17th at the football stadium in Philly. There was a New York Post opinion piece. In that, columnist Kirsten Fleming took a shot at Chelsea Handler, accused Chelsea Handler of trying to become, quote, the new white savior who speaks for all black people. Fleming's theory is that Handler felt upstaged and wrote, the abrasive abortion enthusiast has deputized herself the head of the joke police. How rich is that? Fleming then added that Chelsea's shtick about being a liberated, motherless, alcoholic, loose lady is getting old. Comedian Steve Byrne weighed in. Steve Byrne said, I personally know Shane and Tony aren't racist. In fact, I don't think Chelsea is racist. Sure, she's got a long history of promiscuity and affinity for day drinking, publicly stated she's prescribed a healthy dose of antidepressants, rumored to be awful to work for or with, has a punch card to a plastic surgeon, accused of punching down in her comedy, never been married and had kids and lives alone in her 50s, had dinner with Jeffrey Epstein, but come on, gang, she's not racist. Wow. And we are long this morning, and especially during Quiet Week, but I've got more controversy for you. Robbie Hoffman hit with backlash over controversial comments about celiac disease. Robbie Hoffman went on Alex Cooper's podcast. Cooper proposed a game in which she would give Robbie Hoffman a scenario, and Robbie Hoffman would decide whether it qualifies as great or deserving of jail. The topic went to people who are allergic to gluten. Robbie Hoffman apparently said, quote, "Is it real? Like, I want to see the outbreak. I want to pick up a roll. We're having rolls tonight. Just a bag of rolls. I don't care if it's the Hawaiian roll, whatever roll. Okay, I don't care if it's a dinner roll. Butter it up and let's see." Hoffman then explained she expects a person with celiac disease to have a reaction similar to Will Smith in the 2005 comedy Hitch. Hoffman said, "If it's not Will Smith blowing up in Hitch, I don't know." Alex Cooper agreed, saying, "It does seem kind of recent, huh? No one was allergic to gluten in our classes growing up." Hoffman said, "It's just I gotta see. Everyone is suddenly celiac. By the way, they're coming for us, and fine, I believe you. I'm also joking. That's what I want to know with these people. Is it an allergy or preference?" In case you don't know, celiac disease is an autoimmune condition where the immune system reacts to gluten, sometimes causing damage to the small intestine. I can tell you, it is real. One person on social media wrote, "Really love the part where Robbie Hoffman says the disease destroying my intestinal lining isn't real."
Gossip Corner, whispers in the street. Gossip Corner, probably about Pete. Gossip Corner, where the rumors meet. With Johnny Mac, it's always a treat. Gossip Corner, whispers in the street. Gossip Corner, probably about Pete. Gossip Corner, where the rumors meet. With Johnny Mac, it's always a treat.
Kevin Hart spotted in Las Vegas over Memorial Day weekend. TMZ says Kevin and wife were living it up at the Omnia Day Club, Las Vegas. The couple was spotted leaving the Wynn before making their way over to Caesar's Palace. DJ Fisher had the place going nuts with booming party tracks, drinks flowing nonstop, and crowds packed shoulder to shoulder. TMZ says Kevin was super friendly with fans, chatting and happily interacting with people who came up to him. Meanwhile, Adam Sandler being spotted a lot in Vancouver. Dwayne Notice is a guard playing for the CEBL's Vancouver Bandits. He also co-hosts the Scene DMs podcast. He said, after practice, our president, Dillon came over to me and he was like, "I actually got invited to this run with Adam Sandler, but I can't make it." And he asked me, "Do you want to do it? It's right now." I sped over, and when I went there, it was pretty cool, man. Notice then teamed up with dramatic actor Adam Sandler for a 3-on-3 runaround. Notice said, "Sandler has a high IQ. He's throwing me lobs. He's throwing me bounce passes. He's throwing behind the back passes. He's funny, man. Like he's got a real 90s baller in him." After he won each game, he'd be like, "Yo, like losers off. Who's next?" I was like, "Damn, you don't even want a water?" Even I was getting a little tired. Notice played with Sandler last Wednesday and again Thursday afternoon. Why is Sandler in Vancouver? He's filming his latest movie, Time Out, a psychological thriller, a remake of the similarly titled French film from 2001. Meanwhile, John Oliver was in Baltimore.
Hi there, it's John Oliver here at Camden Yards. Me and my kids just came down here. Pete Alonso was nice enough to say hello before the game. We're having a fantastic time. Let's go O's.
And Drew Carey is getting in on the L.A. mayoral election. He is not happy with candidate Spencer Pratt. He called Spencer Pratt a serial scammer. Mr. Carey suggests anyone who votes for or endorses Spencer Pratt for mayor of L.A. needs to get their head out of their ass. I understand being angry/unsatisfied, but at least get behind someone competent and not some serial scammer without a soul or moral compass. F this guy already. Send your letters to Drew Carey, care of The Price is Right. And that is your comedy news for today. If you'd like to comment on any of this, there's the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group, or you can leave a comment on Spotify. And do follow the show on Spotify and turn notifications on so you never miss an episode. See you tomorrow.